Welcome to this premium note. Think of this as your global masterclass, a professional mentorship session designed to give you the high-leverage cognitive insights you absolutely need to thrive today. Whether you're a startup founder, a freelancer, or building an e-commerce empire, understanding how the human brain actually makes purchasing decisions is your ultimate superpower. We're going to explore exactly how you can use cognitive science to optimize your workflows, build better products, and ultimately drive sustainable digital income.
Okay, let's dive right into this. A staggering 95% of consumer purchasing decisions happen entirely in the subconscious mind. Just take a second to process that. 95%. This means that if you're only relying on traditional marketing, just pitching the logical features and benefits of your product, you are often speaking to the completely wrong part of the brain. We all like to think of our customers, and honestly ourselves, as perfectly rational actors making logical choices. But the science? Well, it tells a very different story. In this mentorship session, we're going to break down 5 foundational pillars to help you master this invisible architecture. We'll cover the subconscious buying brain, decoding the dopamine economy, cognitive biases that convert, visualizing attention and emotion, and finally, ethical persuasion and monetization. Let's get started.
Section 1. The subconscious buying brain. Let's start by looking under the hood at the invisible machinery that drives every single click, scroll, and purchase on your platform. Here's where we introduce the core concept of this note, neuromarketing. In simple terms, it's just combining neuroscience with behavioral psychology to see what truly drives a customer's decision. In the past, marketers just asked people what they thought in surveys or focus groups, but neuromarketing stops asking and starts measuring. It looks at how the brain actually perceives, remembers, and responds to information in real time. It completely removes the guesswork from your digital strategy. So the absolutely crucial point is this number right here. Subconscious processing is 200,000 times faster than conscious thought. Crazy, right? Because the brain evaluates sensory stimuli at lightning speed, long before logic even has a chance to kick in. Optimizing the first few seconds of your video or the visual hierarchy of your landing page is a critical business skill. If the brain decides your content is irrelevant in those first milliseconds, your chance to monetize that attention is gone. The opportunity disappears instantly. Which brings us to Section 2, decoding the dopamine economy. Let's explore the biological engine of modern digital commerce, which is dopamine. This framework illustrates exactly how this works in practice, the dopamine trigger to purchase funnel. Now, a really common misconception is that dopamine is just about pleasure, but it's actually released in anticipation of a reward. It acts as a neurological bridge between a trigger, like a push notification, a flash sale, or a personalized recommendation, and the impulse to click. This creates what we call the dopamine loop. It starts with anticipation, followed by the reward, which then leads to a craving for more, and finally, repetition. Think about a one-click checkout or a perfectly personalized feed. By strategically implementing variable rewards and micro-feedback loops into your SaaS product or e-commerce platform, you activate this exact behavioral loop. You're literally transforming casual viewers into highly engaged repeat users simply by aligning your product with their natural neurobiology.
Which brings up a fascinating dilemma. So we know how to trigger dopamine and build anticipation, but how do we structure our pricing to make the brain feel like it just found a loophole? How do we make the act of paying feel like a massive win for the consumer? This leads us perfectly into Section 3, cognitive biases that convert. We can leverage predictable cognitive shortcuts in human judgment to drastically improve conversion rates on our digital assets.
Let's look at a practical monetization workflow called the decoy effect. This is an absolute must-know for freelancers and startup founders pricing their services. You don't just offer one price, you offer 3. You introduce a slightly inferior third option, the decoy, solely to make your standard tier look irresistible by comparison. The premium tier anchors the price high, making the standard tier feel like a highly affordable sweet spot. It's basically choice architecture designed to gently guide a buyer's final decision without ever forcing them.
Another powerful shortcut is the peak-end rule. Consumers remember the emotional peak and the end of an experience, not the average of every single moment. For entrepreneurs, this is actually a massive relief. It means you don't need a flawless, expensive customer journey from start to finish. You just need to design an incredible emotional peak, like a mind-blowing feature reveal, and ensure the checkout or project offboarding process is perfectly frictionless. Nail the peak and the end, and they will remember the whole experience as phenomenal. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be strategic.
And you can layer this with other emotional triggers too. Take loss aversion, highlighting what users miss out on if they don't buy. Or the scarcity principle, literally just adding only 3 items left triggers immediate action through a fear of missing out. Then there's social proof, like testimonials, which directly neutralizes purchasing anxiety. And anchoring sets a high reference point so everything else looks like a total bargain. Implementing these psychological principles into your startup's marketing structurally converts way better than campaigns that mistakenly assume consumers are perfectly rational.
But how do the top-tier companies know these triggers are actually working? Let's transition to Section 4, Visualizing Attention and Emotion, where we look at the future-ready smart tools tracking this data. This is the modern neuromarketing tech stack. We're talking about fMRI machines that track deep memory triggers and EEG headsets measuring electrical brain activity for emotional engagement. But it also includes highly accessible tools like eye tracking to build heat maps, helping you optimize exactly where to put your Buy Now button. There's also emotion AI or facial coding, which gauges completely unbiased feelings through microexpressions. By combining these technologies, modern digital operators can A/B test a YouTube thumbnail or an ad campaign based on biological truth rather than just guessing. But seeing all this capability naturally sparks a really critical question. With all this powerful technology peering directly into the subconscious, where exactly do we draw the line between helpful optimization and harmful manipulation? This brings us to the most crucial part of this note, and honestly, a fundamental principle for your career. Section 5, Ethical Persuasion and Monetization. Using cognitive science is a superpower, but it must be applied with total transparency to build long-term wealth and brand trust. Look at the difference here. Ethical application means reducing cognitive effort, making it incredibly easy for your customer to get what they want. Unethical misuse is confusing them to force a decision, kind of like those frustrating hidden subscription loops we've all fallen for. Ethical neuromarketing is about personalizing experiences based on opt-in data, not exploiting emotional vulnerabilities without consent. Your goal as a builder is to use these insights to reduce friction and align with your customers' genuine goals, not to manufacture artificial needs or trap them. It really comes down to this core idea. Ethical neuromarketing should aim to clarify choices rather than obscure them, reduce unnecessary cognitive effort, and respect customer autonomy. Ultimately, respecting consumer autonomy is exactly what separates a quick, sleazy cash grab from a respected, wealthy digital business. Trust is the absolute foundation of network effects and long-term income. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you understand the hidden neuroscience driving 95% of buying decisions, what ethical system will you build today to capture attention in the digital economy? You are now fully equipped with the cognitive secrets to innovate, solve real problems, and generate true digital income. Go out there and build something extraordinary.